channel, Kitchen Ken. If you don't know, I am Kendall and this is All Things Food. So today we're going to make some meatloaf. I'm gonna try to give y'all some simple meals for people who don't know how to cook or don't know where to start. So today we're gonna do some meatloaf. And what you need is either some ground beef, or you can use ground turkey. I have some ground beef, about 2 pounds of it. You're going to need some diced peppers, some onion, and a variety of seasons that we'll get into when we start putting this together. So we're first gonna start off by going ahead and chopping our meat up real fine. So you wanna chop it up, you wanna get it real fine. Just go ahead and chop it up. You can use a fork like I'm using and get it nice and chopped up. And if you never had meatloaf before, it's pretty much like I call it a baked burger. Some people call it a burger cake. And a lot of people, it's crazy, they don't like meatloaf, which is really crazy to me. I love meatloaf. It's something that I grew up eating. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all like meatloaf and did you grow up eating it? Okay, so now that we have it chopped up, I'm gonna go ahead and start with my seasoning. So we're gonna get a little black pepper in here. And this is a lot of meat, so you wanna season it like really well, kind of like over season it so it can have flavor. I can't tell y'all how much seasoning to add because I literally just sprinkle until I feel like that's enough. But my staples for it is definitely black powder. That was just garlic powder that I put on there. Now we're gonna go in with some onion powder. A little bit of seasoning salt, not a lot. I don't like my food salty, so just a little. And then my favorite seasoning that I use a lot on everything is this Seasons Pepper by Lawry's. It's spicy, so depending on how spicy you like your food, that's how much I would tell you to add. I like my stuff to have a little kick, so as y'all can see, my bottle is pretty much empty. We're gonna go in with some of this Creole seasoning just for a little flavor. I like to add burger seasoning to mine because like I said, it reminds me of just like a baked burger. So yeah, we're just gonna add a little bit of this. And some paprika just for a little color. Then I use a little bit of Italian seasoning in mine. If I can get it open, y'all. So just a little bit of Italian seasoning, like those herbs in here. I put in some worcestershire, however y'all say this. I add this to my meat. And I just eye this too. You kind of want to get it a little wet, just a little bit. I do add a little bit of mustard to mine, just to hold all those seasonings in. It's like more like a binder inside of my meat. But we're also gonna add an egg too. Before we do the egg, we're gonna go ahead and put in some diced peppers. So I cut these up. You can buy them pre-cut or you can cut them up. I did that beforehand. I'm not gonna use all of these, just a little bit. So let's go ahead and add those. And that's green and red peppers. If I didn't say it, I can't remember. I probably did. We're gonna go in with some chopped white onion. Get that in there. Okay, so I'm gonna try to show y'all what this is looking like. I need to get a better stand for y'all. But this is what it should look like. It's nice and colorful. On the inside, you want it nice and colorful. And seasoned very well. We're also gonna go ahead and add in some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. That's also going to give it a little flavor and also hold together. It's gonna hold your meat together. So just, you know, sprinkle a little bit of this. I would say this is about maybe a half a cup. Like I'm not really measuring. I do know I used a half of a red diced pepper, a half of a green diced pepper, and a half of onion. So if that gives you how much you should add to your meat, and this, like I said, this is 2 pounds of ground beef, and you can do this with ground turkey as well. But if you're using ground turkey, I would definitely over season. Okay, so I'm gonna put some gloves on because we're about to get a little messy. And I cannot stand to touch raw meat. So we're gonna go ahead and put some gloves on for this part. So you wanna go ahead and get everything kind of mixed together in here. Just mix it up. Make sure all your seasonings are getting mixed up. And we're gonna go ahead and do an egg. So this is 1 egg here. Go ahead and crack that. And I'm gonna mix it to determine if I wanna add another one. Sometimes I do 1, sometimes I do 2, but you can kind of just eye it. But right now I think I'm just gonna use 1. And if it feels like it's not sticking, we'll go back in and add another. The thing is, you don't want it too wet. So you don't want to add your 2 eggs in here first, because then you're gonna need more meat. So we can always go in and add an egg, but we can't take an egg back out. So we're gonna get it mixed up real well. And it's not the consistency I like it, so I'm gonna go ahead and just crack the other egg that I took out. And we're gonna go ahead and give it a good mix again. And this is me mixing it up. You want it nice and wet. And now it's time. That's our oven. So you wanna preheat your oven, guys. It just be, if you heard it, I don't know if y'all did or not. But you wanna preheat your oven to about 350. So you can get it, so it can be ready when your meat is done. Cause this doesn't take long at all. And now, it's time to get messy. So we're gonna go ahead and take our gloves. You can use your hands if you want, just be sure to wash your hands after. We're gonna go ahead and mix everything well. And you wanna kinda go ahead and get everything mixed up. Okay, I went ahead and got a glass Pyrex dish. This is what I cook mine in. This is the best thing to me to cook it in the oven, because it doesn't stick that well. Like the meat won't stick. But we're also gonna spread it too beforehand. So I'm gonna add a little more seasoning because I'm looking at it, y'all. This is what it looks like, and it just looked like it needs some more seasoning to me. So we're gonna add a little more seasoning. And like I said, I just eye this. We can't taste it, unfortunately, because it's raw. So I just eye it and look at it. If you can't see your seasonings coming through your meat, you probably need to add a little more, because you don't want to eat a dry meatloaf. I think that's where people go wrong. Why they don't like meatloaf is because it be dry. So we're just gonna add a little more seasoning to it. And it's all the seasonings that I've added beforehand. I'm not adding any new seasonings, just reapplying now that we got it mixed up and we can see how much meat it is. We wanna go ahead and add more. And if you don't like your food very seasoned, then you can go light on it. I just like mine, like I said, to be very flavorful. So we've added some more in, and I'm just gonna mix it. And you want it kind of wet. You don't want it dry when it's going in the oven. So we're just gonna add a little more, whatever you call this sauce, worcestershire, and give it everything a good mix. And I know it looks like I'm adding a lot of seasoning to this, but it's really not a lot of seasoning when you think about it. It's a lot of meat. It's 2 pounds of beef I'm seasoning up here, because we're making a whole loaf. So you got it nice and seasoned, I think, to the way I like it. And we're also gonna make a sauce to go on top, but we'll get there in a minute. So this is what it looks like. Y'all can see, nice and seasoned. So we're gonna go ahead and get our gloves, new pair of gloves back on, because we're about to get messy. So we're gonna put a new pair of gloves on. And we're gonna spray our casserole dish just so it doesn't stick. I'm gonna lightly spray it. And I am using avocado oil. You can use whatever spray, non-stick spray you have in your pantry. So we're gonna move this here. We're gonna get our hands dirty, and we're gonna go ahead and make sure everything's mixed together, and we're gonna pull it out, and it's gonna be time to turn this into a loaf. This part to me is pretty easy because your meat should be sticking together. If your meat's not sticking together, you probably need to add some more breadcrumb or another egg, depending on how much meat you have. So we're gonna pull this out, and we're just gonna mold it into the shape we want it. And there you have it. We have a patty. I'm gonna go ahead and take these off. We're gonna get this cleaned up real quick, and then we're gonna come back and I'm gonna show y'all how I do the sauce that goes on top. So give me 1 minute. Okay, so now that our meatloaf is done, I'm gonna give y'all a little close up. I'm gonna add that clip in here somewhere, but I'll show y'all what it looks like close up before we get it in the oven. We're gonna go ahead and get it in the oven at 350. We're gonna go ahead and cover this with some aluminum foil, and we're going to let it cook for about 30 minutes, cover, and then we're going to make our sauce and put over it. So let's go ahead and get it in the oven. So we're gonna go ahead and let that cook for about 30 minutes, cover. While that's cooking, we're gonna go ahead and make our sauce that's gonna go on top. So you're gonna start off, I use ketchup, some people use tomato paste, whatever. Use whatever you like to make your sauce with. Some people use fresh tomatoes. I use ketchup, it's easier. Don't come for me about how unhealthy ketchup is. We know it's a lot of sugar, but it is what it is. So about, I would say a half a cup of ketchup, because this is gonna be like our icing on the birthday cake. On our beef cake, as some people call it. I add barbecue sauce to mine because I love a barbecue sauce flavor. So I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of barbecue sauce. I add in a little bit of mustard. It's pretty much, when you think about it, the toppings you would put on top of a burger. That's why I said I call this like a meatloaf, a burger cake, because it's pretty similar. And then we're gonna go in with a little bit of Worcestershire, whatever you call the sauce. Go ahead and give everything a good mix. I also add brown sugar to mine because I like mine to have a little sweet taste. So give me a minute, we're gonna get brown sugar. Okay, so some brown sugar. I forgot that I add this. And sometimes I use the barbecue sauce that has brown sugar in it, but I didn't have any. So just, I would say maybe a tablespoon of brown sugar. Not a lot, because I don't want it overly sweet. But just add a little bit of that. And you want it to look like this. You don't have to heat it up or nothing. It's going to heat up in the oven. I don't feel like I have enough, so we're just gonna re-add a little bit more of everything. And for your sauce, I would say about a half a cup of ketchup, a fourth a cup of barbecue sauce, a tablespoon of brown sugar, not even a tablespoon, maybe a half a tablespoon of mustard, and probably 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire. That's the best measurement I can give you. Maybe a tablespoon of Worcestershire, because Worcestershire is salty, so not a lot. That's probably the best measurements I could give y'all for this. and you can just double it, you can half it, however much you see fit. We might need more, we'll see, but this should be enough. And we'll come back, y'all, when the meatloaf gets out of the oven. So we're gonna take that sauce that we had, and we're just going to brush it on our meat. Like I said, your meat is not done. It's just about halfway there. So we're just gonna go ahead and cover it, and just gonna ice it like you are icing a cake. Now we have it nice and iced and even. I'm just gonna go ahead and add just a little bit more. And don't worry about the bottom of your meatloaf where all your oils fell into. That's perfectly fine. And we're gonna get this back in the oven for another 25 minutes. You kind of wanna eye it. You wanna make sure your internal temperature is at least 145, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think that's the internal, I mean, not 145, 165. You wanna make sure your internal temperature is at 165. That's how we know our meatloaf is done. So let's get this back in the oven, and we'll be back, guys, when this is done. Okay, y'all, so I got my meatloaf out the oven. It's nice and pretty. I did put my layer of extra sauce on, and then I broiled it for about 2 minutes on low. You don't have to do that part. I just like that little crisp on top. I did that and I forgot to turn the camera on, so my bad, y'all. We're just gonna go ahead now and cut it up, and it will be ready to serve. And we're gonna pair this with some mashed potatoes and cabbage. Y'all stay tuned for the next video, because I'm gonna show y'all how to make the mashed potatoes or the cabbage, depending on which one I get edited first. But I'm gonna have that video coming out for y'all too, just in case you wanna make this entire meal together. So your total cook time on the meatloaf should be about 50 minutes, 50 to 55 minutes. If you're gonna cook it on 350, it should cook for about 50 minutes. So initially 30 minutes is what we got it in there at. 30-35 minutes is what we put it in at, and then you're gonna take it out at that like almost halfway, a little over halfway mark, and you're gonna go ahead and baste it with your sauce. And we do that so it doesn't dry out. I think I told y'all that, but you want to do that so it doesn't dry out. The sauce doesn't dry out on the top, because sometimes if you do that and you put a aluminum foil on top, all your sauce is just gonna fall off of the meat, and then you'll just have a messy sauce underneath, and there'll be no sauce on top. So you want to make sure when you put it back in the oven with the sauce on that it is uncovered, and you want to watch it. This is what it looks like, y'all. It's smoking hot. That's what it looks like. It's super juicy. It's not dry. It's gonna be so good with the mashed potatoes and cabbage. That's the only way I can eat my meatloaf. I grew up eating it that way. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all eat y'all meatloaf with. I did post a video, I think, on like Instagram or not Snapchat or TikTok or something, and people said that they like their meatloaf with sweet peas. I don't like sweet peas. I love mine with some cabbage, a little bit of cornbread. I wish I had some cornmeal, because I would make some cornbread to go with this, but we cutting back on the bread anyway, so we're not gonna have no cornbread today. But y'all, one day I will show y'all how I do my cornbread. It's so good. But anyways, I want to thank y'all for watching this video. We're gonna go ahead and plate this up and enjoy our dinner. Y'all stay tuned for the next video. Give this a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and y'all let me know what other videos y'all want me to make. I appreciate y'all for staying with me while we made some meatloaf. I hope your meatloaf comes out well. Until next time, y'all, bye.